operation. You want to optimize those. We are in a time period where the business gets to set the hours rather than the guests set the hours. So in the past, we kind of let everybody tell us when we needed to be open and when we needed to be shut. And now you need to really plan your business hours around the capacity of your busy times and the staffing that you forecast. So every hour of every day, you want to be busy when you open, busy when you close, and don't be afraid of odd times. A lot of people are afraid of the 15s, the 30s, and the 45s. It's okay to open at 11:15 or 12:15 or 11:45. You don't have to be afraid of odd times. We've way too often just stuck to, we got to be open on the hour. We got to close on the hour, but it doesn't have to be that way anymore because people use their phones when they go out to make sure that you're open, first of all, on that day of the week. And secondly, what time you open, what time you close. So the idea here is really to start your staff fast at the beginning of the day, at the beginning of their shift, so that they stay fast. If they're in a lull, they're going to stay slow. They'll never catch up when the rush comes in. And then fight for every sale at every opportunity, because things will begin to slow down. You want to optimize your sales at every opportunity that you can, not car salesy, but really offering the entire experience to the guest as they come in. You want to make sure that you match your sales and your staffing. You need to chart every day and every sale along with the associated labor costs. Now, we have tools that can do this in our company. A lot of people don't, so you're going to have to go to a spreadsheet. But you'd optimize the profitability of each shift and don't take a loss via public service. Make sure you peak the peak. If you look at this chart that's on there, you see that the sales are in blue and the labor is in red. So when the labor dollars are the highest is when the business is the lowest. And the excuse would be, well, we're getting ready for dinner, so on and so forth. But then you turn around and drop back down. And you also see that getting ready for lunch was way too early. We are really wasting dollars when you look at this chart. So you're peaking back out at dinner time after the sales have already dropped off, which doesn't make much sense. So this is how I kind of chart out. And you need to do this for every day of the week. You can see this is a Thursday, which Thursdays in my analysis have been the biggest disappointment. For some reason, we always think it's going to be busier than it is. And staffing oftentimes is blowing on a Thursday, sometimes blowing on a Friday, not really blowing that much on Saturday, but Thursdays tends to be the Achilles heel where we really start staffing up and people are available and we think it's going to be busier than it is and we blow it. So Thursday is a great area to look at. And that's one of the reasons I pulled up this chart, is just to show that Thursdays can be a bit of an issue. So as people prep and get ready for the weekend, they have way too much labor on. They can potentially blow the week all in this one day. And make sure that you staff the peak. So the peak in your staffing should be right around the peak of your sales. In this particular chart, you can see the peak came after lunch and the peak came before dinner. So wasting labor dollars, and I know the excuse is going to be changeover. We have these people coming in, those people going out. In this particular chart, you can see that they still didn't adjust back a couple of hours and peak to peak with their labor dollars. Those things should be very, very close to matching up. So metrics to look at when you're optimizing your hours. Sales per meal period. So are you busy at lunch? Are you slow at lunch? Again, don't be open as a public service. This is a business. It's there to make money. It's there to entertain. It's there for the employees and the guest, but it is not a public service. So make sure that you are optimizing your sales per meal period. Your sales per 15-minute intervals, you should be looking at those. It's to see if you need to adjust. And right now is the tricky time of year because in Seattle in particular, it tends to be very seasonal. Silhouette of Mount Rainier, we're already starting to come on the backside of that as we move into August. Things will start dropping off a little bit, and we're on the other side of Mount Rainier, starting to come down the backside of the peak in a lot of cases. So you want to make sure that you're watching that very closely because about the middle of September, it's going to drop off. It does every year. It has my entire career. So it drops off every year in the middle of September if you're a seasonal restaurant. So you're going to make sure that you keep your eyes on that and evaluate that. In particularly at the beginning of September, you need to start making your staffing adjustments for the winter because you don't want to take all the money that you made in the summer and lose it in September, October. So you want to look at your staffing for 15-minute interval and you want to look at your opening and closing sales. Are you opening at the right place? Are you closed at the right time? So make sure that you match those things up and you look at them on a daily basis so you get in a really good rhythm of what's happening at the beginning and the end of the day. Move on